Welcome back, everybody, to this episode of The Crown of Autumn. We last spoke with our adventurers. They had successfully liberated a village of the mortal tribe they have yet to identify of the East as being Westerners themselves. Um, with the ensuing bloodbath with the primordial scouts. Mid-battle, a platoon of their number had come to reinforce them and in an attempt to subjugate this portion of the territory, a fog giant, uh, an 18-foot tall behemoth, uh, armed with a what looks to be like a siege hammer for his size. So it's essentially a tree. Um, decimated the primordial infantry there, and due to the wounds and the horror of the battle, our uh, party members have taken refuge in a seamstress's hut, uh, intruding upon her before they pass out as she was bathing. Gunnar, would you describe your character for us as he slowly comes to?
Gunnar is a youngest man, 6'6", and a huge built-out barbarian. He is currently passed out from a feature he has of red mist, which after the mist clears, he collapses all physically, emotionally, mentally, and is so utterly, completely exhausted in every way that he just sleeps and was completely in a helpless state until his body and mind can basically reboot. Um, so he has very little knowledge of what happened after after the battle, just from that exhaustion and just trusting that what friends that are there will keep him safe. He is currently got some wounds from both arrows and from swords, and so he's not in the tip-top shape. So um, I'm hoping that those arrows weren't just left in him, but he was being pincushioned from one of the soldiers from a distance for a while.
Thraban, would you describe your character as he lays in a feverish state, locked in the nightmarescape?
Thurban is a Dawn Fairfolk, just about 5'8", 5'9". If one was to brush back his hair, you would actually see the pits where his horns used to be. As he has recently found out, they probably will never grow back, much to his dismay. Much of his body is covered in black robes. I am a power he found down in the catacombs. Um, his fingertips and his fingers are starting to become an inky black, a sign of the shadow sickness and the corruption. Luckily, it hasn't spread too far, but time will tell on that. On one hand, he also has a black silver ring. One could probably still see the indent from the cut that it made when he applied it. Um, as of now, he is probably outwardly he's probably still, but he's in like a fetal position as his mind is tormented relentlessly by this fever nightmare escape that he has once again succumbed himself to.
As Gunnar, some indeterminate time later, comes to from his exhausted state. He finds himself in uh, a fur bedroll with a wool blanket thrown over him, um, in a hut that he does not recognize. Uh, you hear a low rumble of an accented voice outside, speaking with a number of uh, female voices, but here there is no light uh, in your hut beyond like the tent flap is the hut flap that's got a curtain door there for you. How do you wish to proceed?
Gunnar will, um, without appearing to be awake, just take a moment to listen. He has excellent awareness and kind of determine if anybody is nearby him without completely sitting up and looking around.
You are the only one in the tent.
Okay.
Or
Then he
excuse me,
will
not the tent, the hut.
then he will sit up and look around. And first thing he's searching, scanning for is his greatsword.
His personal effects, he finds himself naked to the waist except for a loincloth. His personal effects are uh stacked in a corner, just in a neat pile. It would seem that you had been undressed in uh your sleep state, but everything
Then
seems to be there.
then I'm gonna regard the condition of my body and look for like the arrows where the arrows had hit me.
It seems that you'd been very caught very luckily. Actually not most, all three of these arrows that attempted to fell you were all chest shots, but they didn't pierce any organs, interestingly enough. It's all meat.
Got a lot of meat.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Overall condition of the body then seems like 10 fingers, 10 toes. I can move around.
Yeah. Uh, all the requisite limbs and toes. You're sore. Your head, uh, your head feels like there's an elephant living in it. However, um, possibly a migraine from the lack of blood and whatever they've been administering to you. Um, it is at this time you realize that there is some kind of incense permeating the hut here, uh, possibly some medicinal thing or some superstitious uh, ritual being done over you for your wounds. Some foreign custom. These people are have their own uh, doctoring, different style of it, perhaps. Um, you glance around. There is a cask of some uh, sweet smelling, obviously an alcohol of some kind nearby, uh, and a tray of what looks like berries, fishes, and something like that. Some food had been left out for you, interestingly enough.
And I go over to the jug and it's in a vessel that I would assume
Oh
I
yeah,
drink.
nice jug. There's at
Okay.
least a gallon of it right there.
I start pounding and alternatively eating and drinking out of the jug.
Nice, nice. No, it is some kind of a mulberry wine type of uh elixir in there. There is some pulp, almost like a like tea leaves and other um spices in there that kind of light your tongue up as you drink, but it's not unpleasant. Um, possibly there is a medicinal compound in with the wine, but between that, how much of this are you actually drinking? Because
Um,
they left you a sizable portion there.
I won't drink it all. And if I'm starting to feel a little, intoxicated tingle, I'll stop because I want a clear head.
Oh,
But
oh yeah, you're gonna feel it soon. Make a
okay.
conditioning test here.
Hmm.
Whoever these brewers are, they know what they're doing.
So is this a saving throw?
Yes, it is conditioning saving throw. This is your alcohol tolerance.
Is there a add level to this, or is it just the physique
No,
modifier and die
uh,
roll?
it's the yes, physique and die. What'd you
6.
get? 6? Oh my God. Yeah. Um, you feel pretty damn good, whatever is in here. Oh my. Okay. It hits you like a ton of bricks. But a few moments later, there's no small amount of painkiller in there too. Oh my. Oh, I feel great. Holy shit. Oh, you're trying to feel yourself up, check yourself out. Oh, keep that coming, whatever that is.
I will very carefully put the remains down. I'll come back for you.
Now the low booming voice outside continues as uh it's seemingly the sing-song choir of female voices conversing with him outside does reach your ears. It's like a well-lit thoroughfare outside that kind of pours in, and the light flickers slightly as someone passes your hut. Again, you're nude, save for a loincloth. What are your plans here?
Well, I'm gonna listen now that I had made the connection of fog giant before I went unconscious.
Mm.
I'm gonna listen to the voice. Um, Now I haven't heard fog giant being spoken since I last saw Gram Gram. So it's striking me deep in the fields, in the fields that
Oh,
I'm that's like Gram Gram's tongue. And now
uh,
I'm very interested to go and meet with this fog giant.
you you can tell the accent is similar to the giantish that uh you remember from your from your boyhood, but he is speaking in the foreign tongue to these people, so his accent is familiar to you, but the words being spoken are what are you saying here? Uh but you get the impression that he has a really good singing voice. Uh he's got this low uh basso type of rumble to him that uh you kind of he almost wants to put you back to sleep is what his voice almost does to you. And in your somewhat inebriated state, you're like, I might lay down, but if I lay down, I might not get back up for several more hours. You're feeling pretty good despite what happened yesterday. You feel great.
All right. Thrybrun around in the hut at all?
No, he is no, he's you're the only one in this hut.
Okay. I'm going to with my liquid courage, I'm gonna make it to the door and just pull aside and go out because I I feel good.
Right?
Da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, right. You step out the impressive bronze colossus that you are, uh, into view of a cloudless, warm night, suspiciously warm, but because you know it's autumn, there's a warm um, breeze here, suspicious for the time of the cycle, and the fog giant, who is a deep, almost like black brown hair with a beard that is tasseled from ear to ear, and actually sitting uh in he takes up the thoroughfare of this village, and he's speaking to a group of these women, and the dryad Aura is sitting nearby. Um, and you walk into the conversation as the giant says, "I was sent to find a human of the West and a very sick fae. I was told that they would be here, and they seem to have been." And he looks up with almost a herald's uh like a cadence to his voice, like the herald of a king's court. Uh, he looks up, and his face lights up from behind this hedge of a beard, and he says, one of them is awake. Come and join us." He just waves this fucking ham of a hand. He waves you forward here, or waves you closer.
I
And these
I
ladies of all the several different sizes, excuse me, sizes, ages, they turn to you, and you're a very impressive, not very clothed figure. Some of them blush, some of them, like one of the older ladies puts her hand over the eyes of one of the younger girls here, uh, because well, hey man, you're a stallion and your cock is out, and it escaped you for these few moments. How do you wish to proceed?
I will walk up respectfully to the fog giant, and I will bow and say, "Well met, warrior."
He nods. He goes, "Well met to you. How was your slumber?"
I feel refreshed, and I owe someone an incredible debt of gratitude.
Hmm. He nods. "These ladies here tended your wounds rather expertly. It is unfortunate that in the previous battle with these devil scouts that all the men of this village had been slain, so it would seem as there are no men here. These women and the daughters will have to find another village to join.
Mm.
They plan to travel south to where the rest of their people tend horses on the plains."
I I don't have any idea where our companion is leading us next for our mission, but if there's any way that we're going south, then I would certainly find it an honor to help escort. But we are also on a mission ourselves, and we have to take that into account.
The sorcerer known as Threbon is in that hut there, and he points his huge finger over just it's quite literally just across the way from where your hut was. Uh and he still slumbers. I don't believe he will awaken for some time. He seems, unfortunately, to be very, very sick with the darkness.
And I have no idea of how to treat any of that. He it's something that's overcome him before, and all I can do is be a guard over my friend until he can revive.
That is not a sickness that a a normal healer can see to. And he has this tone of voice to him that is uh, reminiscent, but not in a pleasant way. He's thinking back to an experience that you can tell that it was a traumatic thing for him. He has around his neck uh, a symbol, a clay disc, which is essentially the size of a dinner plate on scale of him, uh, with a pink magnolia painted on its forward face, um, as well as on the back of his left hand is a tattoo of the same symbol. Which you would know that the goddess Rhinu, the goddess of music, artwork, merriment, poetry, tenacity, tragedy, oratory, and prowess, is the goddess represented by such a symbol. Magnolias being a flower holy to the goddess. You also know that only women can be priests, excuse me, priestesses of Rhinu. So your basic knowledge here is clearly he's a herald of some kind, which in to make a Dungeons and Dragons reference, a herald is essentially a paladin,
Hmm.
uh, holy warrior, so to speak.
Are we speaking in Numerian, or did I start speaking to him in Fog Giant and he responded?
Um, that is up to you, which language you greeted him in, and he likely switched languages to converse with you. So if you're actually speaking to him in Giantish, then he'll switch to his native tongue too.
Well, for the sake of argument, if I was speaking to him in Numerian, he would be understanding me, because
Oh
that
yeah.
would be probably my first, groggy thought of like speaking
Okay.
the common language. Um,
Then yeah, he speaks Numerous with you. No
okay.
one else understands what's going on now. It's just you two in that conversation.
Okay, then I'll switch to Fog Giant and I'll say, is this the dialect of your people? I'm from the far west and I don't know if your language encompasses both east and west. I'll say that in Fog Giant.
He responds and says, I am also from the West. I have been traveling alone for some time to find you.
Interesting.
Which language is easier for you to speak?
Uh, I suppose we go back to Numerian. Just when Thrybraun is able to join us, then he'll be able to converse. But um, my grandmother was Fog Giant, so I picked up the language. We are
Hmm,
effectively cousins, so to speak.
wonderful. He smiles. How old are you?
I am 22.
Hmm. I am 28. We're not too far off from each other.
Well met indeed.
At that point, I suppose we'll probably have a scene of downtime as you two are uh, quite quite close to each other culturally. You guys probably take some time to get to know each other.
Yeah.
Um, to give you the broad strokes, because that whole scene could last the next 2.5 hours of the session. Uh, give you broad strokes here. Uh, he does confirm that he is a herald of Rhinu, and he was sent to assist you. He believes that his goddess, in a vision, when he was meditating one morning by a stream, uh, trying to compose a poem about peace and how to prevent war. Because, well, there's quite a bit of war going around, and how do we prevent such a thing? Uh, he, in this vision, he was told that there are two individuals that very much are in need of his assistance, and um, he gives you the descriptions. There is a young Nemersian, uh, who is uh, a great warrior, wielding a great sword, that he describes to you that the sword that you wield is not worthy of you, is
Hmm.
how you were described to him. Uh, and the fairy sorcerer, who is plagued by nightmares and fingers in the dark, specifically, uh, had been called back from the outer darkness to inhabit. But he says the giant word haunt, to haunt, like he's a ghost, but in the context of what he's saying is to inhabit. Some little foreshadowing there. Um, uh, this world for a single act of vengeance, and he had been chasing leads, finding you two, and he essentially took a gut made a gut decision, and found he traveled south for 3 days and hard marched it, and found these troopers that he stomped on, and found you guys.
And
In
I will equally relay the story uh, unabridged. I'm not going to filter anything. You know, we're around the campfire, and I do I get a sense that he's being honest and truthful with
Very much
me.
so.
Um, that I will explain how I met up with Thrybrun in the crypt, and the battle that ensued, and then us joining together and going back and getting our mission, and making our way, and then the crypt and the exiting the crypt and finding ourselves in the east. Um, go through all the whole adventure, so he can appreciate what we've kind of been down and around. I'll have to end it by saying I can't say that I completely understand all the complexity of the mission that we're on, but that's not my job to do. That's for Thrybrun to put his mind on, and I offer my protection and support any way I can. He he's the one with the knowledge, and he's the one who is steering our ship.
He nods, agreeing with you. We will take our counsel from the sorcerer when he wakens. I hope he awakens, because we're going to be in a very sorry mess if he does not. I had been instructed to be here to find you two, And I was assured that we would have direction from thence onward.
Then all we can do is wait. If it's like any of the last times, he just needs to escape this darkness himself.
He nods knowingly, but says nothing. Would Mike, would you describe the seemingly never-ending nightmare of this chapter of the never-ending nightmare, preferably?
Right. So right now, due to the circumstance of what put him into the nightmare currently, um, it's going to start out. It's going to start out with being outside a village, being outside a hut, probably much like the one that they were just outside of with the seamstress. And there's a primordial body in a grave that was dug. And one of the companions says, "Well, back in my culture, we burned the bodies." Okay, go ahead and burn the body. As soon as the fire touches the body, smoke appears. Anything that the smoke touches dies. So Thurban, way back then, it was fucking God. Which name was it way back then? Ilmatar. Way back then. God, it's a couple lifetimes ago. Uh, he watches the companion with the torch drop. He watches the smoke travel to the hut, almost sentient like it's hunting for living things. Goes into the hut. He sees another companion who was sleeping take their last breath. He sees their other companion who was making herbs take his last breath. And then, if he had a nose or a sense of smell at the time, he would smell burning flesh as the man's face went into the fire and into the pot. And then all you can hear is screams. And he's looking around. And then he realizes he's the one running and screaming. And he runs and he screams until it's all in the background, it's all in the horizon, it's not there anymore. And then it fades. And this is where his brain is going to start making fabrications and start making nightmares. Because now he's in the tunnel where he met the Fae. He met the fairies and the pixies. And the queen decided to say, "This one's mine now. You make sure you come back to me." The one that him and Gunnar went down and he had the flashback then. And he goes into it and all he can see is smoke. And all he can see are little tiny bodies. And before he can really react to it, he'll actually see that queen and she looks up at him right before a billow of smoke overtakes her. And before his eyes can adjust to that, the smoke then overcomes him.
And it's that point when you wake up.
Fair enough then.
Which
to anyone, to anyone within earshot, probably hears the ear-piercing scream of a man in sheer terror.
Or a banshee.
Yeah. He might have reached that pitch right about now.
Right? Hell yeah. What a lovely, lovely voice.
Yeah.
No. So Uh, you sit up bolt upright and you you shriek like a banshee. Uh, and you strangely enough don't feel anything. Uh, there is a gray pall on everything. Like you can discern light, you can discern spectrum, you can discern um distance, depth, all of that, but there is a strange pall on everything. And the the thing that now inhabits your vision is a searing red hot at some point and white hot at others trail. It's like a smoke trail, a light trail, a trail of uh, white hot will-o-wisps, and instinctively, as you know you are here beneath the moon in this lifetime, uh, there's no reason for the age-old pinch me if I'm sleeping. No, you're awake. But that trail of lights lead you towards Endukaga. Uh, one of the village ladies comes to your tent and pulls the tent, the door curtain aside and shrieks in absolute terror as her eyes fall upon you. And she falls back. Gunnar sees her fall back. She falls on her ass and she crawls away and runs like a deer as uh Trebon sits there. And how does the party wish to proceed? Helrag, the Herald of Rhinu, just he looks at Gunnar rather concerned, and then looks at that tent where the shriek came from, and
Kadar's
he
already shot, like bolting for the hut.
okay. You sound distant, Terry.
Oh no. I hope this is not.
Well, not anymore.
No, you're good
Okay.
now.
Yeah, that initial uh response was very distant. Um,
Yes, so Gunnar is up like a shot without any words. And immediately running for the hut.
okay. Uh, now, uh, the giant, seeing him from the seated position, an 18-foot tall behemoth that he is, to like rock forward and get all of that mass moving to stand up is kind of terrifying in and of itself, but you're not looking, but for the audience's uh benefit, think of an athletic Achilles, but scaled up to almost 20 foot tall, where he hops from the seated position on his heel to the standing position. He has quite a ways to go. Uh, he scoops up his siege hammer as the Gunnar, you get to the tent and like thump, thump, thump as like the ad. He takes 3 strides and he's standing over you. Uh, and you do you go into the tent? What do you do?
Pull back the curtain door and
Okay.
look inside. I'm just gotta assess what's going on.
You see horror of horrors. You see uh clothed similarly to the way Thurbon was previously. uh, an apparition, so to speak, and a shadowy adumbration in the shape of a Dawn Fairfolk with eyes like red coals as Thraban, you think it's Thraban, hauls himself to his feet, uh, his robes hanging, flowing unnaturally as the adumbration, shimmers into view, almost fucking manifests right there in the flesh. We think, we hope, but he, looking at him in the low torchlight here, he is. Your eyes want to register him there standing before you in the gloom. But your your third eye, so to speak, you have a 6 in your occult. Uh your sense of mysticism tells you he's not actually there. Like you see him with your bodily eyes, but the third, the sixth sense, so to speak, tells you that he's in a different place, and you don't know where that different place is. He's inhabiting two places at once in this moment as you look upon him, and you stare at each other for a few seconds.
By the gods, is that you?
You hear the voice of Helreg behind you. What is it?
he he is not all here.
What do you mean he's simple?
No,
He
no,
just knocked himself in the head when he fell over.
I don't mean
These
that
are
at
not
all.
games.
No, no, it's like his body is here, but it's not here. His his cloak and his clothes are definitely here, but he's not all here. His body. Come look.
He fucking huge. Uh,
Yeah, now pull.
he kneels. He has to kneel and like get his face right next to you. Like you hear his breath as he's like, "All right, sit down." As he gets down, and you kind of look over your shoulder to see this nose hove into view. As he like, move out of the way. You are more door than window. Oh, I see. What is that? Is that the sorcerer? Why is it just
It's
standing there?
I don't know if he or it can hear us.
Thurban at this time, uh, after he wakes up and he screams, and then he hears the girl scream, and he hears Gunnar and he hears the giant. Uh, when the girl screamed, like his first thought was kind of narcissistic, like I know I'm not the prettiest Fae around, but come on, now you don't need to scream when you see me wake up. Um, but then he'll bring his hands up to eye level, like he'll actually like look at his hands.
Your sickness is now to your elbows,
Oh,
black like pitch, when you used to be a nice creme brulee golden color.
are the fingertips dripping?
No,
Okay.
your fingers don't leak. It's
Was
the
it the
tear ducts
eyes?
that do.
Yeah, that's what it was. I guess we had something before where it used to be the fingertips would do it if it was too far along.
No, 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 no.
Do I feel tears on my face?
Nope.
Okay.
Thank the gods.
Right? I mean, that would just and that would just add to the creepy factor at this point. But yeah, um,
We like yet.
yeah, right, yeah. Shut up! Don't jump narrative. Uh, he'll look down and he'll see the ink or the inky blackness, and he'll actually like Gunnar will watch this. He'll actually trail up his one arm until he sees where the ink stops, and he'll look
You
at
got
the
to
other
pull up
one.
your sleeve. You got to
Yeah,
pull up
right,
your
right,
sleeve to
right.
see.
And then with like he'll put his hands down. Very very measured pace with all of this, and he'll look at Gunnar. How long were we out?
I look over my shoulder at the giant. How long were we out?
5 days.
5.
This is the evening of the fifth day.
What what is wrong with you?
Great question.
Right. I don't completely know. Where's his staff?
Uh, in a pile in the corner.
He'll grab his staff. He'll grab the rest of his effects little he had. I'm assuming the ring was not removed from the finger since that thing probably doesn't come off.
It can't come off.
Right.
At you notice, and now as you take up your staff, uh, the wraith that was in within the staff now is completely obedient to you. When there was before previously there was a hint of begrudging obedience. Now this thing is now your loyal and forever slave.
Meanwhile, he's thinking, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing completely.
It senses the greater undead in the equation.
Yeah, right. And then he'll actually finally register the giant in the room, so to speak.
Hmm.
And
Literally.
yeah, he'll kind of like cock his head. You survived.
I did. The women of this village are excellent medicine women.
How are you feeling?
Hungry. Hungry for the throat of Endukaga.
Right. He'll he'll
That's all
he'll
you feel.
he'll look at Gunnar, but then he'll like move his head in whatever direction that trail is actually going toward.
Hmm.
I'm itching for a fight, and I know where we have to go. And with that, he will quite literally walk up to Gunnar and not quite dismissively, but almost like a superior looking at someone else, like kind of like try to like wave you off to the side. Like, I don't want to touch you, but you need to get out of my way because we need to go.
As he gets close to you, Gunnar, the fucking temperature changes. It drops about 25 degrees. It's cold standing next to him.
I got the cold aura. Yes.
I I move aside. I'm more out of shock than necessarily respect, but
Uh,
very unexpected reaction to his presence. Like,
oh yeah, he's fucking spooky now. Yeah. Um, I can make another D&D reference. Strabon has similar frightful presence. I believe frightful presence in third edition is just fear, isn't it? The fear spell. I can't
It's
remember.
they have an aura to it, and if they fail the DC, yeah, they basically run away or they cow, depending on what the user wants to do. Usually, it's run away though. So yeah, it's basically a fear effect.
Uh with lesser undead right now, you cow lesser undead. As congratulations, you are now a Revenant Lord. You are not here and here at the same time. You are looking through everything in the mortal realm with a filter of the realm of the dead. And that Willow of the Wisp that I was describing earlier for uh, those in the mortal realm would be blue. For you, it's either like a blaze red or a white hot trail that leads you towards Endukaga. And you are feeling a constant it's a constant hunger that you can't sate. Uh you don't need to sleep anymore. You didn't really need to sleep before. Now you can't sleep. You physically now can't. Um and some of the crazy might actually start to crack in your rather calm and collected visage. Uh your party members have to sleep because they're living. You do not. You could march from one end of this earth to the other. Uh, and uh, at least when we go into a combat scene, anyone within close range of you is going to be taking 2 points of cold damage per round. As you are now, congratulations, a greater haunting. Now,
Um,
Hellrat gets out of the way and
right,
uh, gives you a wide berth, and as a giant, that is saying something.
right. Uh, we actually never touched on it before and reminded me. How much damage do I do with the cold touch?
A D8 plus your level.
Oh shit.
oh,
Yep. Also cold. Like cold elementally. I think we agreed a couple years ago that ice magic is just elemental water plus temperature.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, keeping with the four elements, so uh, all of your shit is ice themed. Ice and vengeance. Uh,
And he's a skeleton that become brittle.
uh-huh.
All right.
Technically speaking, his corporeal form is a skeleton, technically.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there are other mitigating circumstances there that I won't just ruin the entire fucking adventure for anyone here.
Ah, that's fine. Yeah. The bond, like I said, everything. I feel like the way it is, yes, it's a hunger, but everything is almost like measured to make a analogy. He is basically the fucking Terminator now.
Kinda.
And he will do everything in that measured patience that is terrifying to watch because he now knows he's not really stopped by anything.
The women of this village, they shut themselves in their huts. They do not want anything to do with you three, and uh, the babushka of the village essentially comes out to you three, and she does not mince words in telling you three to fuck right off. Nah, you guys are tossed out on your ear. Uh, if you want to steal anything from the village, they can't stop you, but you're asked very forcefully to fucking leave.
I'll
So,
go back into my tent, my hut, grab my stuff, um, grab the jug with the juice in it, and like a
feel
handful of
good juice.
berries and whatever else I hadn't eaten, and just load up the jug as well with the food. And this is mine now.
Right?
Ain't nothing you can do about it.
So, no, Helrag follows the two of you out of the village. You guys uh begin following Turbon's will-o'-the-wisp, essentially. Uh you have to impatiently stop to let your companion sleep, but you basically stand there all night.
Yeah. Look, we now have a really good guard.
Before we completely go unconscious and rest, we'll build up a fire, and we need to have palaver here.
Flavor.
I need to know your vision and what our plan is. Has this changed our mission at all?
Oh no, he's dying. The mission is the same. We stop in Dukaga, hopefully get back the Crown of Autumn, and start the seasons again.
How far are we from him?
Can I actually gauge distance itself, other than just knowing he's somewhere in the Ebon Vale?
Uh, he hasn't moved. You know that much. You know he's not alone, but you can't gauge like distance.
He's in the Ebon Vale. He hasn't moved from where I found him last time. I don't know if the giant has any better sense of distance than me or you would.
Uh, the the herald uh says in his overly calming deep basso, uh the Ebon Vale is only some 3 chains distance from here. At the speed that we're going, it should be quite a short trip.
There you go. Do you two have enough food?
I've got what was still in my pack, and then this.
Helrag reaches into his pack, which is essentially a tent. Uh, and he takes out a boar, a whole boar,
I honestly wouldn't expect anything less on it.
and he bites the thing's head off and just starts chewing. He looks down to Gunnar and very cordially, very nicely, very politely holds the whole animal out to you and says, "You want some?"
In respect to that, Gunnar will, you know, not take it from him, but hold it and take a bite as
He,
well.
he he actually like will pull off a leg. Like
Okay.
he hear the snapping and the pulling of Cindy. It sounds disgusting. He just rips the thing off and just like he holds it out to you. Leg.
Thank you. No, I'll take it. And I'll go hold it by a hoof over the fire. No, I'll try to skin it a bit. I can't chew through the hide as well.
It seems like it's kind of fucking burnt because you got to take into consideration he's fucking huge and he killed this animal somehow we don't know. Um and he skewered it on what was probably like a lance and hung it between two trees and just spit roasted the whole fucking thing like that because well he's not gonna butcher it. He's huge. He doesn't have the fine tools for it, and a meat cleaver on him is a slab of bronze. So no, it's
Also,
absurd.
he doesn't need the butchered anyway. He just eats it, whole limbs at a time anyway.
He's got an immune system. Fine, whatever. Uh, it's like clean to the point like where like the intestines and the gross organs are out, but the rest of it's just rather crudely dressed. So, yeah, no, you got to peel back layers of shit on there, like burnt hair. All right, here, whole fucking leg.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I mean, you just start like if you set up camp, he just sits down with a thud, and you guys hang out, and like the montage of the next few scenes is going to be you two walking and this well, the three of you follow two of you followed by a huge giant who has to like modify his steps to not like stride past you. Uh
Or he just picked up Gunnar, one of the two.
oh, that could be. Uh
Rechained by mortal men, maybe a chained by giant steps.
right? That's if Gunnar has enough dignity to walk or if he would prefer to be carried.
I'll walk.
Yeah. Uh
I don't actually want someone to see us like that, so I'll walk.
Giant pet.
Tap a mountain and fling Gunnar. Lifelink, stout arm. There you go. I'll show you that card later, Terry. It's an awesome giant card. Um, but no, you're just like the next few chains is gonna be that. What do you guys want to do in that downtime, essentially?
Does Thrybrand have any wounds at all? Like, or is that all?
No, he healed somehow, or his wounds that he had previously don't seem to bother him anymore, interestingly enough.
Okay. Oh, and then I had taken 13 hit points from our battle.
You got it
After
back
the
by now.
By the end of this downtime, you guys should be back to full health.
okay.
Well, Mr. Bond, that's kind of negligible to you, but anyway. Uh,
Got all my spell points back though, so there's that.
oh yeah, all of
Oh,
them.
Yeah, all of them.
Yep.
I get back 7 a day.
You're right.
we forgot to ask whatever happened to the Dryad.
Oh no, sorry, no, she's with you guys. She's been
Oh,
following you the whole time.
okay.
She, however, will let Helreg carry her.
Just to pass the time, as we're traveling, I'm going to kind of pick her brain about um, apothecary and plants, the herbalism behind healing.
You quickly find out that the um oh yeah, no, right. Uh the plant species, or what would be normally used by medicine men in your village, uh is completely different on the side on the great your side of the Great Divide as opposed to our current side of the Great Divide. So apothecary, almost like languages, changes from one part of the continent to the other. So she references a lot of different plants over here that you're like, I have no idea what the hell those are. Uh, what do you mean? Those are white flowers and thorns on thorny vines? What? Star-shaped leaves are good for X what? No, there's nothing I've heard of. So after a while, you probably give up. She is a dryad of the east as opposed to the west, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, I'll try to retain what I can.
But uh, you you make it to the edge of the Ebon Vale, and uh, a portion of the trail, the Will-O-Wisp, actually leads you into the forest. Um, for whatever reason, these Will-O-the-Wisp things are giving you a rather aggressive shortcut, and they're taking you through um, places that say would not hamper a revenant's travel for obvious reasons, but for those who are of the living, it's kind of a pain in the ass to follow. So about 3 weeks takes about 3 weeks because you can go around and like because Serban will like go and because he's not technically here, he can do things and move through things the way a spirit could. Um, and he has to stop and wait repeatedly, which is annoying as shit. Um, and that first night in the forest, as you guys are bedding down, becomes rather interesting. Through what, Mike? Did you have a question?
No, the only thing I was going to say is like during the travel, um, at some point, probably about halfway through, he would contact the astromancer,
Oh, you can have that scene right now if you like.
right? Um, and then he's also going to contact his sister before they actually hit the Ebon Vale or attempt to contact his sister.
Okay.
No, yeah, he'll he would have done this before they left that first night, but he kind of like that feeling kind of overrode everything until he's more in sight of his quarry. So he didn't really have the mindset to talk to the astromancer yet. But no, he when they get to that forest outside the Ebon Vale, yeah, he'll when they're all kind of like bedding down for the night or whatnot, he'll go a little further apart and reach out
Have
that
Congress.
connection. Yeah, he'll reach out that connection. Probably pinpoint exactly where the astromancer is before doing it too. Uh,
He is traveling with Einar, his apprentice, and 73 other sorcerers
damn.
of various levels of skill and such like. Uh, How do you open the conversation? What does he say?
Well, at first, Astromancer will probably feel the connection before he actually says anything, but Thraban will actually have like he Astromancer can almost feel like the stunned silence from Thraban seeing this retinue of sorcerers. And then Thraban would be like, wow, I see you found reinforcements.
They attempt to do a good job. You sound different. What's happened to you?
Dry chuckle later. Things have progressed a lot. Um,
And
we are just outside the Ebon Vale. I can quite literally see the trail leading to this bastard. I don't completely know what I am, but I no longer need to eat. I no longer need to sleep. My very existence exudes cold. And all I can feel is a hunger and a want to destroy this bastard.
you just feel a nod.
Right. We have teamed up with a fog giant that apparently was sent by Rhinu to assist us.
Oh, he will be useful.
Yes, yes. I saw him destroy an entire retinue of primordials by himself.
And a great warrior. Good.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Him and Gennaro are getting along splendidly right now.
Well, their people have been neighbors for some thousand cycles now.
Also, I recently found out apparently Gennaro's grandmother was a giantess.
That does not surprise me, given how large Gnar is.
Right, right. But
I just like to know how his grandfather was able to get his mother or father into his grandmother at the time. Her channel is quite deep.
I didn't ask for details.
For
Maybe,
academic purposes, you might ask.
well, I'll tell you what. When we're done here, I will send Gunnar to find you and you can ask him yourself so you can write it down.
Fascinating.
I figured you would find it that way. We are outside the Ebon Vale. Uh, they are bedding down for the night. I've been impatient with this, but I cannot force them into the ground over this either. I don't know what's going to become of this. I do not know. I do not know what's going to transpire or how it will end. But I have a feeling that no matter how it ends, this will be goodbye for us.
Do you think so?
I do. I feel like everything that I've been brought back for is leading up to this moment. And whether he kills me or I kill him, or whatever the equivalent of death for us is going to be, I don't think I am leaving this area. So I would like to say thank you. I would like to say good luck. And may the deities be with us both.
I hope they are. I would think at least one of them, if Rhino was able to send the giant with you. And if Rhino is with us, then that means a whole slew of others will be with us as well. Many of the gods tend to team together.
Yes.
You will have to tell me what the The realm of the dead is like someday.
Someday.
There are very few of us that die the real death, as you have done.
But we will have that meeting when it is your proper time.
He will close your connection as is that window uh that you created there, that channel of communication. Not only did you feel the absolutely colossal will that is the Astromancer, but you saw the several dozen smaller individual wills that are essentially following the Astromancer through whatever it is happening in the West there. But many sorcerers do not gather like that in great numbers. That is um, almost unheard of. But the war with the Atlanteans is an unprecedented event in Arklanar's history, and it would seem that the Primordials have not made their move in the West as they have done in the East. But as that connection fades and the conversation lapses, you are left there with a sense of uncertainty that puts an edge to that hunger that is eating a hole through your guts, or what's left of your guts. Uh, your feelings, your will then begins to wander back to your sister. How do you proceed there?
Uh, so that one, um, he will attempt to track her down and open a channel there. This one though, he's going to try as best he can to mask his presence and keep it light. Try his best to not give her anything to worry about. Doesn't quite know how well that's going to go.
Ah, we shall see.
Right, right. Uh, yeah, he's going to see if he can track her down. Of course, the first place he goes to is back to his old house, their house, and see if he can pick up her trail there.
Uh, she she's currently asleep. Uh, so you will probably speak to her unconscious mind.
I don't think he's ever actually spoken to someone who was already unconscious. This could be interesting. When he sees her asleep, he's he's not going to so much speak as he is going to quite honestly try to will um just a sense of love and um like how much he misses her and how much she meant to him, because he's to him this is going to be goodbye.
Oh,
She doesn't need to know that. um but he's trying to basically have her realize just how much she meant to him and how much she kept him going. um and to be honest, if she was awake, he probably wouldn't have the words anyway without choking up. And if a revenant could cry, one probably would right now.
Your tears are like ink. There they are.
God damn it.
But you do feel grief. Like half of a revenant's entire existence is grief. The
Yeah,
other half is revenge.
right.
Uh, but no, as a semi-spirit, uh, with your will, uh, in an instant, uh, you are there in her bedroom, in your house. But you're seeing everything through the filter of the realm of the dead, so everything seems bleak and gray. Um, she has a helix about her that tells you instinctively, deep, deep, deep down that she's alive, and you don't have that helix anymore. Uh,
Right.
and her horns are uh, full and thorned, flowering in places, and healthy, like bone would be. Uh, and she sleeps comfortably. And I mean, there, when you appear there, she shivers in her sleep but she pulls uh, a couple blankets. One of them is wool over herself and rolls over to be more comfortable. But as you pour that empathy into her, uh, you uh, you can instinctively feel that her sleep becomes more peaceful, kind of like a deeper REM cycle. Like she's dreaming happily now. You can't see her dreams, but you can tell that she's dreaming peacefully. Uh, if she was to die in her sleep, this would probably be the best state of her being to pass on. That's how peaceful it would be, and it would be a beautiful thing to just, if you're going to snuff it out right now, to preserve this feeling for all time right now.
Right.
But
Yeah.
you know, as at least as a fledgling, actually, no, hang on. Before I open mouth, insert foot, you don't have access to the oracular circle, do you?
Didn't get that far, no.
No. Okay. No, you're a warden and an enchanter, I believe.
Yep, yep.
Never mind. I was about to give you a, a bit of oracular knowledge. I'm gonna redact that. No, you don't know jack shit. Fuck you.
I can assume she is peaceful right now.
Should you ever become a seer in the near future, this is what you could assume. No, here, see how I saved that without sounding silly? No. Um that is uh no, this is to you, to her, to the both of you. Um as siblings, this is a good meeting. There's a bit of sadness in there, but Um, you can chalk that up to your nature of undeath and obviously wanting to see your sister again, but this is going to have to suffice for you,
Right.
unless you want to wake her.
No, I'd rather not wake her. Best that she not see me like this for the last time anyway.
Yeah.
So
Are there
yeah.
any last wishes before we go to the next scene? Your companions are sleeping soundly, all three of them.
Uh yeah, actually when Thurban comes back to where he was, um and he'll actually sit and think about it for a second. Um I can't remember the damn guy's name for the life of me. He's gonna find the man that took over his coven.
Narada,
Yes.
your your chief of staff.
Yes.
Uh, he is at this hour of the night, he is still awake. Uh, he is studying magic at his desk. Uh, no, he is still awake. He is, I believe at this time, he's about fourth level. Access to the fourth tier of the wilderness circle. He is studying the trap finding spell.
I see you're well.
He starts and with a snarl, he stands from his desk, knocking his chair over, and his sword, which is actually a great sword, uh, leaps into his hand from the table near to him, and he turns around to see the undead you. Uh, and he looks on in horror and in disbelief.
It's okay. It's just me.
What has happened to you? As he breathes like his breath, now you see his breath in the coldness of this home, and he just kind of like looks at the carbon dioxide just like expelling from his lips again now in horror, and then looks back at you.
I died the true death and I got brought back anyway. Now I am the thing you see before you. It's almost done though. I'm going to fight Endukaga. We're going to get the season started again. And I'm hopefully going to go back to sleep. I hope no one disturbs me this time.
Where are your bones?
Yeah, he actually chuckles at that because now he actually wonders if his bones are still sitting there. Because he's assumed this whole time that it's his body with his bones that are currently outside the Ebon Veil.
If you do not wish to be disturbed, we can recover your corpse, and we can entomb you in a place where you will never be disturbed.
I was entombed the first time, Narada.
We'll make damn sure it won't happen again. Where is your bones?
Well, if they're where I am supposed to be right now, we are currently outside of the Ebon Veil.
And how are you? Are you an apparition? He honestly wants to reach out and touch you, but he's like, I don't know if I should or not.
He'll Thurbana raises his hands so he can see the ink, and then Narada will also see the missing ring finger. I'm
He
still pieced.
opens he opens a drawer in the desk and takes out the jar and puts the jar on the table. Doesn't even blink.
I see you kept the compass.
Of course.
Have you found out what else it can do?
It points us where we need to go. And we found a place which is on a cleft uh, that overlooks the southern rim of Arklanar. We saw the Atlanteans come ashore here, but they picked up their things and moved on some time ago, and we have made a home for ourselves here in the hills. We're not in the forest where the rest of where the rest of our people are native to. The Grove thought that it was inappropriate that we reside in the home where you were raised, and we were not able to bring you with us. So our people have flung themselves into a self-imposed exile in your absence, and I have been leading them ever since. What do I tell them of you? Ever the loyal servant.
Tell them I died a hero's death. I died trying to save the world. I died thinking of them to the very end. When this is over, there's going to be a man named Gunnar. If you two ever meet, he was the closest thing to a friend I had left. Besides you, of course. He is the one currently with me right now, trying to help me end this. If I have any remains to pick up at the end of all this, and they have not been scattered to the four deities of nature, then they'll probably be at the Evan Vale. If you wish to make that trek to entomb me where you wish, so be it. Otherwise, leave me where I lay. Keep the compass. Hopefully it helps. You've always been a good man. I know you'll be a good leader, and I know you do what needs to be done with our people. Sorry, your people. But even if I survive this fight, I will not be returning. I could not come back to you like this. And if there's any like candlelight or torchlight, he'll step into it so Narada can see the full ink, scary revenant apparition in front of him.
He, his eyes go wide with fucking horror. And he is, speechless. Uh, Speechless in the face of the undead horror standing before him. Uh, he he actually like puts a hand on the chair that's sitting next to this that's next to him, and he sits down in it, and you guys lock eyes. His the tip of his sword like droops to the floor. Uh, Defenseless, absolutely defenseless. He just and he turns white as a sheet. Uh,
I know. I know.
all right. That's all he says. That's all he can say. It's all right.
Hopefully we meet again when the time is right. And I pray that that is not for a good long time. And with that, Thurban's going to dissipate, for lack of better words.
Oh yeah. As he essentially disappears within like the rest of the shadows as he Narada is left there alone in his study, uh, wondering if that actually just happened. And he looks at the embalmed finger compass, and the last we see of that scene is him picking up the compass and then putting it back where it initially was, and then the stage lights go dark on that scene. The next morning, if there is nothing else to do, Mike, does he want to contact anybody else?
No, that was the three he needed to talk to.
Okay. Uh, the next morning, the four of you, or at least the living members of the party, uh, rise, feed yourselves, and into the forest. Three of you trek, the four of you trek, and you've you found a partial uh, deer trail through the forest. Helrag, being the opulent size that he is, has some difficulty in some portions of the forest, not telegraphing your entire movements, but he, unfortunately, he's a fog giant, not a forest giant. Forest giants are slightly smaller, but no, really no less dangerous. Uh, but uh, following Thurbon's red wisp trail, you go along a riverbank for a time, and the four of you feel like you're being watched uh, for a time there, and it's not a pleasant feel like you're being watched. It's quite creepy. You don't really know what direction it's coming in, but it feels like there's a pair of eyes like right here. Uh, and as far as you're aware, there's only the four of you. I mean, you've seen some wildlife. There are birds singing. A stag and a few does actually lope through the forest here, but it's not like a predator type of watching, and it's not, say, an evil watching, as you would stereotypically. Oh, the forest goes really quiet here until Gunnar, you look across the river and see a little boy of like 8, standing on the other bank, and you're pretty sure he's there. Like you blink, you rub your eyes, and the kid is there. He's wearing a sackcloth tunic and green trousers, leather boots for his size, and a deerskin ring belt. And yeah, no, he's fucking 8. He's a child. Uh, with kind of like dark tawny hair, uh, light green eyes, fair skin. He's paler than you are, and he has like slight freckles. Like he's like kind of like a good looking kid, but uh, he like stares at you with like an odd intensity.
And is it just me that's observable, or is everybody with me?
All four of you should be there, but you're the first one who seemed like notice the kid.
Okay. If he's staring at me, I'll just give a wave like a friendly gesture.
The kid doesn't wave back, but there's like a long pause. And it's like Aura like stops as she's walking behind. She almost like bumps into you when you wave. She's like, "What are you doing?" She follows your gaze and she goes, "Oh." As the Hellrag being the one who kind of wandered off, uh, he's got to kind of wander off to like not leave you guys behind. And she's just boom, boom, and he's like back there with you guys. And Thurban, you you walk on a good 15, 20 feet with that measured patient stride that you have, and you know like no one else is following you, as your three companions are staring at this little kid across the river.
Hmm.
Uh and sorry, Gunnar, you were in the middle of something. What would you say?
Oh, I was just going to explain to my companions who are around me that he had seen me before I had seen him. So that's why we're all staring at each other.
Right? So the little boy speaks up, and he actually speaks in Feywise to you guys, which to Thurban's ear, this kid's not a fairy. He's clearly a mortal boy. Why the hell does he speak the tongue of fairies? Uh, the boy says, you four are strange travelers in these woods, and none of you are from here. What are you guys doing here?
Meanwhile, like Thorban's first thought is, why isn't this kid freaking out at seeing a, you know, an undead walking through the forest? Uh,
Yeah,
in Feywise back, especially if no one else really says anything, he'll just uh trying to meet somebody. Someone very special has something I desperately need.
do you want me to take you to this special person? Because I think I can help in the childlike innocence that a kid can. Hey, Mike, can make have Thraban make a premonition roll, but add his level to it.
Okay, give me a second here.
I'm gonna hit the loo quick. Hang on.
Is this saving throw or just skill throw? And he's already gone. Because premonition is normally a saving throw, so you know if it's a saving or a skill.
Right. I don't speak Fey, so I'm like back and forth.
You started learning Feywise, remember? That's how we're able to talk to Aura.
Oh, I didn't have it written down.
I don't think you're fluent in it, is the thing.
Ah,
Because Aura doesn't speak Nemersian. Bet you dollars of donuts, that's a deity trying to help.
say again.
So bet you dollars to donuts, that's a deity trying to help.
Sorry, I'm back now. What
Hey,
was that?
so question. Was this a saving throw or a skill throw?
Premonition? No, skill.
Skill throw? Okay. I didn't know if it was gonna be one dice or two. So
Oh no, this will be two.
28.
28. Um, you specifically can tell with senses that you don't quite understand yet that this little boy is not normal
Yeah.
at all. Not like there's something wrong, like the kid's not all there. No, 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 no. He's
It's
there.
it's more than a little boy.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Yeah.
distinctly.
It's the bond will just he'll step to like the forefront, of course, wide berth because I don't want to freeze them out, but
Mm,
he'll step to where he's like the closest of the four to him, to the
mm.
boy, and he'll almost kind of squint. I think when you really look at someone, who are you?
The people in my village called me Drûzah.
And how did a little mortal boy learn how to speak the language of the Fae?
I don't know. The I think the fairies taught me. And this kid like gets this like really uh you wouldn't call it a far off look in his eye, but like like when you ask a child something and they're like really trying to remember something and they can't for the life of them. That's the expression on his face. And he says, I don't have a mother or a father, but my village takes care of me. Would you like to see my village?
What time is it during the day?
Oh, it's about mid-morning. You've been walking for a few hours, so we'll have to be careful of the red-skinned people, though.
I'll look back at Gunnar. You guys could probably use with a meal here soon, couldn't you?
At that moment in time, Aura's stomach growls obnoxiously.
Yeah, of course it does. Yeah,
She looks at Thraban rather sheepishly and then doesn't want to look at him anymore. She's very embarrassed.
you said Drûzah?
Yes,
Sure, we'll come see your village. Maybe
and
we can maybe I can find some answers.
he says, "Oh, wizard," and kind of like does this little skip hop thing. He goes, "I'll show you where." Oh, wait, no, I'll show you where the dead body is too. And then he runs off into the fucking woods.
Like
What's
out of
going
sight
on?
or just like runs off ahead of us.
He runs off. He disappears into the fucking brush. Like
Well,
he is a kid who is assuming you guys are right behind him.
well,
And
I don't.
Helrag said just looks down at the three of you and says, "We're going to follow a small mortal boy into the forest."
A small mortal boy who somehow learned the language of the Fae and is not all what he seems.
Is that so?
I am not fluent in Fey. I'm
Hell,
only
Hellrag,
partially.
question for you.
Mm,
What did he do when he saw me?
the boy,
What was his reaction?
well, he just stared at us. All
Yeah,
four of us.
you're telling me a regular boy would see this and stare at it while still
I,
holding a conversation.
I, to be interestingly fair, I am a giant. You are an undead horror.
And we have a
Gnar
dryad
is
and a
a
mountain of a man.
strapping man, and Aura is a dryad of something approaching beautiful. And she punches his thigh. She, oh, come now.
He just means you're beyond it, or it's okay.
She
But
crosses her arms over her chest and
but
pouts.
look up at Hellrag. Hey, that's not a normal boy. He either would have ran screaming, would have been speechless, or would have asked about 300 questions in the span of 2 seconds. And
Childlike ignorance. Maybe he think
Hellrag,
you're you are sick. You're
he
very sick.
he offered assistance without knowing who we are.
He's also a child. He also wants to show us a dead body.
I think he's more than a child.
Which way does a will-o-wisp lead you?
Well, the white hot version. Actually, which way does it lead us? I'm assuming it leads us away from where the boy went, or is it following the boy?
Kind of in that vague direction.
Uh,
It's like
okay.
northeast, north by northeast kind of thing. You're not going out of the way.
Okay. Weird, weird question because I'm still trying to figure out exactly what all this entails. Can I track the boy?
Like the predator, yeah. There are
God damn.
there are 3 points of life around you that are not they're just there, but they're not what you need. And a smaller one with an immense will about it ran off into the bushes.
I swear to God, this is an Aaron moment. I swear to God.
I don't think Aaron is uh fucking how old was he? No, he was like 6 in the first book.
He was pretty young,
He
but
is a
he had
little
it
bit older than Aaron.
right. But it's the whole immense will and not quite knowing what he is.
Right. We could talk about Aaron
Yes, we could.
for
Yes, we could.
hours, and we're
Uh,
not doing that tonight.
Thurban is going
Terry,
to
finish that series so we can fucking talk about it.
Thur Thurban is going to walk
Uh,
off in the direction of Drûzah.
so no, you walk across. Uh, and we, the living members of the party, are treated to the fact that Thurban can walk across water and turn it to ice.
I was hoping for that. Yes.
Like he doesn't walk into the water. He like steps across it like it's a pane of glass and he turns it to ice. And so you guys ford the rather icy fucking river. Uh and Drûzah is like waiting for you guys on like a hillside, and he leads you deeper into the forest. Now, instinctively, the four of you kind of like, no, this forest is old, an ancient antediluvian forest. The trees here are a few thousand cycles old, huge fucking trees. Until he brings you to uh a willow tree by a river that has a body stapled to it with a spear. There is a Uh, the corpse there, clearly an adult male human, with advanced stage of decay. Although his hair was once a thick mane of fiery red hair, uh, and a tunic similar in cut and fashion to Drûzah's. If Drûzah was a young man, it'd probably look very similar in fashion. Tall boots that go up to his knees, uh, a piratical sash of ocean purple, which has been faded uh, from exposure to the sun, and specifically Gunnar and Thraban. You guys know that purple dye is extremely fucking expensive. And it's a sash, a piratical sash, and the thing that sticks out to Gunnar the most is the belt and baldric that a saber hangs from, or at least a scabbard of a saber hangs from. The saber is actually in the left hand of the corpse in a death grip. Much of the flesh of the corpse has been eaten away by scavengers and or uh, bugs and the decaying processes of the forest. Uh, Besides this, I mean, you'd think that, I apologize, I bring some of that back. Scavenging animals would have disturbed the bones and he would be a mess. This is mostly a skeleton here, and Gunnar, you feel really uneasy looking at this corpse. But the belt that he's wearing is of a leather, a black leather of a beast that you're not familiar with.
Hmm.
The buckle is made of gold. It is studded with gold grommets, and the scabbard there, uh, like I said, matches um, the saber that's actually in the left hand. And the saber, the blade of which is not rusted, not corroded in any way, uh, is of that same strange black material that the primordials actually encase themselves in.
I'll go take a closer look at the belt and scabbard and sword.
Okay. How close do you get to him?
Uh, he looks dead. I'll get relatively close.
As you guys get up there, or so you get up there, the rest of us are watching this. Uh, you can see that he is like firmly stapled to this tree. Like this is like a boar spear with a nice long spearhead on it. He is fucking stuck to this tree. It's like they ran him through and left him.
So looking at that spear, then can I tell if it's a primordial? Because I've got some primordial javelins. I don't know why I
Oh
carry
no.
them around, but
Oh no.
no.
Not they're not made in the same fashion at all.
Hmm. Do I recognize the make of this then?
You are not recognize you don't recognize the culture that
Okay.
made these.
Hmm. I'll leave the spear alone, but I'll take a closer look at his left hand then.
His left hand is in uh what would be a white knuckle death grip of the saber hilt, but the obviously the bones and the sinew uh of the hand are decayed there, but he's still holding it in his
Oh,
dead grip.
well, he was a warrior who died on his feet. He's got some honor in that. I'm gonna try to work the saber out of his hand.
Yeah. Now, as you try and pry his bony fingers uh from the hilt of the saber, you disturb the rest of him, and um the belt moves slightly, touches your skin. It is cold to the touch. The image of a red-haired, red-bearded devil of a man with a saber on one hip and a long dagger on the other. Uh, a murderer, a smuggler, and a black-hearted pirate floods your mind. The entity laying before you, known as Red Morthrung, in life with a complex man, yes, an evil pirate who took what he wanted and whored and wenched in every village and port, slew guardsmen and tradesmen along the highways on a whim, but somehow deep down had a soft spot for orphaned slave children. The last moments of the Devil Morthrung's life had him cornered by 70 men in a gully, and he slays 40 of them before managing to escape. He was a terror with a saber and a dagger, slashing and cutting through men, armor and shield and bone like they were grass and twigs and wax and paper. Finally, being overcome by an angry mob, he was daggered to a tree, and his throat was cut so deep that you can see his spine through his throat, through the open cavity in his throat. The last feelings from this vision are of sorrow, locked deep down inside a treacherous heart. As now you've disturbed this corpse a little bit, and you can actually see, no, his throat was slashed real damn deep. And it would seem that they just staked him to the tree with a spear for like insult to injury.
I'm going to yeah, I'm gonna free the sword completely.
Yeah, no, you can take up the sword, but it's not the sword that actually gave you the vision.
That's
It's the
I want
belt.
I want to get the sword free first and set it off to the side, and then I'll try to work on the belt. I want to kind of play with it a little bit. Is this going to be burning me with cold, or am I going to get these visions again? I'm kind of,
Nope. No, you can actually unbuckle it. It's actually perfectly broken in leather and supple to the touch.
hmm,
Um, it's of some black colored scaly beast of some kind when the scales are huge. Like you've never seen a snake this large. But
all
no,
right.
you can get the belt off of him, and it's actually a belt and baldric.
I'm going to take the belt off and take it over to the dryad and say, what type of creature is this?
Uh, you she doesn't know,
Hmm, all right. I'll uh I'll slip it on and
and you're gonna just put it on. God damn it. Well,
Do it.
uh,
oh, I love cursed items. Um, so
go
you're
big or
immune to
go home.
poison now. You're immune to poison. You're immune to bleeding. Uh, you give a -8 penalty to your vitality, and you get a you double your dispatch bonus.
Ooh, like he needs that, but ooh,
Yeah, no, the belt of Morstrong is really fucking awful. Imagine like any thief, any rogue archetype in this system, Mike, that has access to double dispatch.
An assassin with double dispatch. Plus 18. Wah!
Ah, yeah. Who's immune to poison and bleeding? Like, really? You fucking cock. You don't need that. Oh, well.
I got it
But with
anyway.
but with a -8 to your vitality, you're fucking paying for it.
That
Yeah.
would put me down to 1 hit point.
And
Not that it probably really matters to me anymore, but
and
No,
what was it called? The belt of what?
Morthrung. Let me put it in chat for you so you can
Plate
spell it properly.
cursed. -8 vitality.
Yep.
Basically knocks out your conditioning bonus.
Yep. Essentially. God, that's fucking bad.
Yeah. And I've already got a -6 vitality from the Fey Iron
And
Greaves.
and Mike, he was a smuggler background in life, so he was already built like a thief.
Yeah.
Or excuse me, a rogue. Saber and dagger was the loadout. So he's
Your your
making 2 attacks.
your swashbuckler, yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, double your dispatch. Yeah, no, you fucking asshole. No, he was a damage sponge. Not a damage sponge, but a damage hose. In life anyway. Uh yeah, evil swashbuckler. Uh and the little boy, Drûzah, just stands there and looks on. And he said, "No, that dead body has been there for quite a few cycles now. The
Hmm.
animals don't come up here. And I feel really sad when I visit him."
Well, he he died a warrior on his feet. I can't say what the character of this man was, but I know I had the feeling from the belt that he loved children.
The little boy doesn't say anything, but he says, "If you want me to take you to the village now, I can take you to the village."
I I placed the saber in the hilt. And did you say there was a knife that was with it? A dagger?
Yeah, there is an ebon dagger on his right hip. Like for whatever reason, possibly when they daggered him and then speared him to that tree, he was not able to draw the dagger. So no, he's got uh at least for his weapon loadout, it's just a saber and a dagger.
I'll take the dagger too.
It's a nice long two-bladed poniard.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Look at me with new toys. Yes,
Hmm.
let us see your village.
Now Drûzah takes you down into the Ebon Vale. Uh and the closer you guys get to the coast, as the day wears on, this kid was out here for a while. Like he he's out here wandering the forest. Why is he not eaten up by wolves? We don't know. But he takes you. It's like 2 days in the forest along some fucking track in rough country. How the hell, again, how the hell is this little boy doing this? Takes you to a fishing village, which you can tell he actually no, he stops in the underbrush before you guys actually get into the village proper. Uh that he points out that there are primordial troopers that are like ordered here. And he says the red people in the black armor, they don't come very often into the village, but they usually don't bother the people. They just speak to the head man. I don't think that they would bother you, but the giant might spook them. To which Helrag just strokes his beard and says, I spook most people in the east. In the west, I'm quite welcomed. He looks rather knowingly at Gunnar and just nods.
Welcome indeed. Welcomed in friendship.
I suppose I should stay here then, Gunnar. I don't want to scare anyone unnecessarily. Aura giggles at that. And
I
then she
could
offers to stay with uh Helrag.
I could cry out if you're needed, but otherwise I'll come back myself and report.
What does Thurban want to do?
Well, where is the red hot trail leading to?
Not through the village, but you've kind of like gone back somewhere the other way. Uh it's actually north and to the west of here.
He'll look at the little boy. Who are you trying to have us talk to?
Well, I thought you wanted to look for something special here at the village.
Well, you see the red guys, right?
Yeah.
The one I'm looking for is the one in charge of all of them. And if they see me now, they're going to spoil the surprise.
Do you want to talk to the red-haired ladies?
You think they're going to be okay talking to someone like me?
They're
As
okay
he,
talking to someone like me. The village really doesn't like me. I don't know why.
Who are the red-haired ladies?
The red-haired ladies that carve whale bones and they dance on the hill at night under the full moon.
Are they part of the village?
No, no, they are not.
he'll look back
His
at
eyes go
Gunnar.
real fucking wide at that.
He'll look back at Gunnar and be like, probably the coven of witches we were told about.
Ah, perhaps
Drûzah,
we
when you look
should.
at me, what do you see? Also, as an aside narrator, is he affected by the cold aura?
Nope. Drûzah actually gets a little, maybe to your liking, a little too uncomfortably close. Like everyone else is like gives you a pretty wide berth because they don't like it to be terribly chilly. And um Drûzah either is an ignorant little fucking boy who is paralyzed from the ass up and doesn't understand cold, or he's just an innocent little boy that doesn't understand that you're actually fucking dead. But no, you guys are sitting together in the underbrush right next to each other. So when you ask him, what exactly do you see? He says, well, I like your horns, and your skin is yellow, and your eyes are green. The way he just described you when you were alive.
Which, if a revenant's eyes can go wide, being little, beads of red and
They
vengeance,
just
they
glow
will.
brighter. Why do you
Very,
ask?
very. And Thurban will actually like give him like a reassuring pat on the head. I just want to make sure that you were a very special little boy. That's all.
Okay.
And the fact that they don't like you is their loss.
Oh, okay.
Are the red-haired women good to you?
No, not really. They hissed at me once, both of them.
Are the red-haired
Although
women?
I don't think Gunnar, she turns to look at you. He goes, I don't think you should go in there either. And he indicates the village, and he goes, you're a lot darker than the rest of them. Us. And he actually looks down at his arm, and he's actually quite pale compared to you.
How many of the red men are there?
Maybe 20.
Whew.
If you put a cloak on and didn't show your face, you probably could get away with it. Turban could also probably get away with it too.
I'll kind of look back at Gunnar. Well, I don't know exactly what the witches were supposed to be about, other than possible clues to what we were looking for.
Do you want to try them first?
Honestly, they seem like a better choice than 20 plus of these primordials.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I'm kind of in a pissed off state of mind, but
Alls we have to do is have one of them raise the alarm and we're spent.
and who knows, maybe we can get the witches on our side.
Drûzah's eyes go wide. You really think so?
Their
They
brawn might
might
have
not
an in.
see me as you do. Certain people see me a different way. Let's just say that.
He gets this only childlike innocence as he crinkles up his nose with incredulity and says, why? So innocent and so pure and so fucking perfect. Why? Oh, young man, if only you knew.
Because, little one, they don't always see deeper than skin deep.
And you think the witches will?
I think you do, which is why you see me different than other people do.
He looks back at Gunnar again with the same innocent incredulity on his face. How do you see Thurban?
uh, I see him both ways.
The Hellrag he catches your eye.
I see him as my friend and companion, um, and a magical warrior whom I trust,
But what does he look like?
just as you described him.
That's a fucking lie. Roll deception. No, 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 Terry, it's fine. Don't. You don't have to. But player knowledge, you lying sack of shit.
Yeah, I know. Hey, but I can remember what he looked like. Maybe not exactly how the kid described him, but
Yep.
enough where I can be like, yeah, oh yeah, yellow
Oh yeah.
skin,
You can
no
concur with all
blackness
that.
on him at all. Don't worry about
Huh?
that. Green eyes, yeah, that
That tracks. That
oh,
tracks.
Yeah, yeah, all that stuff.
horns, sure. Okay.
Yeah, right.
In his pocket maybe, but
Oh, Drûzah just like gets up and leads you two into the village without a
oh,
care in the fucking world.
whoa, 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 whoa. We're gonna call him back. No, no,
That
no,
kid
come
is
here.
gone.
Yeah.
Son of a bitchin' kid, get back here.
We might need to fall back.
Like he's at the gate. He turns around like confused, like, why are you? He just looks back. Come on.
What are we doing, Gunnar? How many
I
people? How many people? How many people do we see between us and the gate?
Nothing, just him. Just Drûzah.
Okay, predator mode. How many people do I see between us and the gate?
Nobody. Just him.
Let's go make it quick.
There's a whole village inside the wall, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Like hoods up, complete stealth mode. You guys going in?
I thought we were gonna go see the red-haired people, Drûzah.
uh,
Well, we are.
We
I
gotta go
just
to the
gotta get a
village
few.
for that.
Yeah, I gotta get a couple of things before we go. I don't have my cloak, and it's probably gonna rain soon.
Might snow at this rate.
It's the Ebb and Vale. Wait a few minutes. It always rains.
Have you ever seen snow?
Yeah. He points to a nearby mountaintop. The white stuff up there.
Have you ever seen it fall in front of your face?
Oh, yeah.
Go get your stuff.
Last winter, I remember it snowed quite taller than I was.
uh, go get your supplies. We'll wait here for you.
You're not gonna come in to see the village?
We want to stay a surprise from the red men.
Well, they're not gonna bother you. They don't really bother anyone in the village.
Yeah. I'll put my I'll put my hood up. We'll go stealth on this.
All
Okay.
right.
Because little boy with innocence, you can't really deny the little boy with the innocence.
So Drûzah leads you into the village. Uh your hood's up. You don't uh You don't alert anyone to your presence, but there's a few people that look at Drûzah and they kind of like give him a little bit of like a mild neglect, like you'd give a stray dog, which is it's unsettling for you guys. Uh, there is a quartet of primordials that walk down the muddy thoroughfare, and they walk right the fuck on by you. As Drûzah leads you through uh, a couple twists and turns through the village. Uh, he leaves you uh and says, "I gotta go inside and go get my cloak and stuff." And then he goes inside, and uh he's gone for like 20 minutes. And you're like, what the fuck's going on, kid? Like he goes into what like looks like an inn, but you're like left out like under like an awning, like on the the adjacent building, and there's like one of the primordials that's actually speaking with a young mortal woman. Uh, he looks over at you two. She looks over at you two, and then just kind of like, and they kind of go back to the conversation. And so this like you guys feel really fucking exposed at this point, and you're like, "Who the fuck is this little bastard? We're here now. We don't have a point of escape. What the fuck?" And this guy, what's up, Mike?
Out of curiosity, the
Yep.
quartet that passed us in the thoroughfare,
Yep.
were they put off by the cold aura at all?
Uh, they seemed like they was like a couple of them like maybe like shivered a little bit in their armor, and they just kind of like scooted on by, but
Okay,
it's also like wanting to rain, and the Ebon Vale is also kind of cold and windy anyway.
right. Okay,
So they're maybe at that moment in time they're like, "Oh fuck, it's chilly. We gotta get the fuck out of here."
okay. So, okay, that's my one thought is not true then. Okay, good, good.
Uh,
Fucking
it,
fabrications.
there is one of the guys of the village, he's like in his mid 40s, comes up to you and he says in Fey-wise, and his accent is wrong, like he mispronounces words, but he walks up to Thurbon, but like realizes that it's really fucking cold standing right next to you, and he backs up a few paces and he pulls his wool cloak around him a little bit tighter, and he says, I noticed that a bit ago you two were uh, following the boy Drûzah around. Did he say anything strange to you?" And he said, I apologize. I'm assuming you're a Fae because you look similar to how the Umbriads that live in the caves beneath the mountains north of here they look, but your skin is a bit more golden than theirs is quite pearlescent and white. Uh, and your ears are of long is you are a fairy, right?
I'm a Fae.
Oh, uh, no, did did Drûzah say anything strange to you?
What do you mean by strange?
He showed up uh a while ago uh in the village as a little baby, and he he makes a lot of the women here uncomfortable, especially the mothers. And uh, there's he leans a little bit forward and he says, "We are a superstitious people of the fairies, and there is a rumor that Drûzah is a changeling, and he he's he's not supposed to be around here. He was banished from the village, but he seems to be like a stray cat. He keeps showing back up. I'm concerned if he is wandering the wilderness and misleading travelers."
He didn't say anything strange. We didn't see him change. We have got nothing to do but to believe that he's a, a young boy who has led us to the village.
He told you that this was his village?
In a manner of speaking,
He
Well,
said he
he doesn't
wasn't.
live here. He's not supposed to be here.
And you said the building next to us is supposed to be an inn, right?
Yep,
Like it actually looks like an inn.
kind of does, yeah. It's kind of like a one-room flop house kind of thing, like a really wide building. Not like a two-story actual like inn.
He's been gone for a while. He said he was going to get his cloak, but if he doesn't live here, what would he be going in for?
well,
I don't know. So,
Th-
uh,
Thurbon's going to go into the building.
so
I'll follow.
you just kind of leave this guy out on the street.
I mean, we're talking about him as like he's been gone for a while. I'm going to go see what he's actually up to because now I'm wondering.
As you guys get to the door of this building, Drûzah comes around the corner, like you guys almost run into each other, suspiciously at the same time. And he's wearing a cloak, a nice wool cloak with his hood up, and he almost runs like right into you. He goes, "Oh, I'm back now."
What took so long?
Um, the inn lady doesn't like me, so I had to get my cloak back from her.
Why did you come from around the building instead of through the door?
Why? I had to use the back door.
Thurbon's going to look back at the guy who came to talk to them.
Uh-huh.
Is any of this true?
Well, when we did banish him from the village, they did take some of his personal effects, yes.
And why exactly were you banishing a boy?
Because he's a changeling. He's not a real child. The fairies likely abducted the boy that Drûzah is supposed to be and left a little fairy thing where his mother laid him.
How are you able to talk Feywise? Who taught you?
Sometimes, and this was before the red people came, the Umbriads would come out of the mountains and trade with us. So some of us had to learn how to speak to them.
Okay. Drûzah, do you have all your stuff?
Yes.
Perhaps we should take our leave.
So Drûzah will lead you guys out of the village. He will actually lead you by another troop of primordials who kind of don't give a fuck about you guys. And out onto the road you go.
So what are the primordials that we're seeing in the village primarily doing? I mean, they seem to be leaving the villagers alone, but
Yeah, like patrolling. They seem to be like billeted on the populace somehow, or like they're at least being quartered there.
hmm. And when we saw the soldier speaking with the woman, did it look aggressive or uncomfortable or
No, they seem to be having at least an amiable conversation. He wasn't accosting her, and she wasn't accosting him in any way.
and well, and she didn't seem stressed out or anxious from the conversation?
No,
Hmm.
as far as you can tell.
I I would suggest that we get out of this village quickly, quietly.
Raban's just looking at Drûzah for a moment, like not like staring, but it's like that inquiring look, like, what are you, boy?
He just looks at you and says, "What? Is there something on my face?" She
No,
did throw something at me. Is there gravy on my face?
no. Come on, let's go see the red haired ladies.
Are this giant and Aura gonna come with?
Well, yeah, we need to go get them.
Yeah.
Okay. So we reconnoiter with the rest of the party, and you guys give the village a wide berth to obscure Hellrag's immense size. There's a fog giant just traveling with three other guys isn't suspicious enough. Uh no, uh Drûzah leads you to a hill, a huge hill with one gnarled, old as shit oak tree on top, with standing stones around the tree. Mike, do you know what this tree is? The one tree on the hill?
Uh,
Uh, in the center of a dark city, surrounded by black basalt stone walls. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the center of a Thranlanath. No, and Drûzah like leads you guys up this fucking hillside. Distant relatives of Thurban in the future will be standing on the steps of a temple that'll be built here later. You guys go up, up this fucking hill, and you find it's kind of like a semi like flagstone like pathway, and it kind of spirals up the thing. And guys go along the road. You pass, there's a henge here carved with uh raised reliefs, and you're now under the boughs of this immense oak tree, and there are two red-haired ladies, breathtaking red-haired women, one of which with her long as shit nails, mind you, is carving some whalebone scrimshaw, like with her thumbnail that's like 2 inches long and like razor sharp. She's like cutting it with her thumbnail and flicking off chunks of bone off into the grass as she's making a little sigil made out of whalebone. And her sister is sitting on a log nearby, going over some clay tablets and some other rune and or sigil sticks. And these two ladies look up at you, you four, and Aura immediately says, "Oh, I don't like these women. Oh, I don't like these women at all."
Do they say anything? Or they just look at us.
Oh, they look at you and they stink eye the fuck out of you.
Hmm.
The woman, uh, now to say that she's the pretty one is kind of silly because they're both absolutely gorgeous. Uh, Smiles at Drûzah and she's got fangs. And she says, "Oh, sweet boy, you've come back. I told you not to fucking come back here." And Drûzah just says, "I brought some friends that wanted to talk to you about the red people. So I'm gonna go now." And he just looks up at Thurban and then over at Gnar like a kid wanting to be dismissed from the dinner table really badly, but doesn't say anything. And Gnar just waves him off. He
Pat,
dips the fuck
yeah,
out.
I was gonna say,
Holy shit, he do.
pats him on the head and lets him go.
He is a deer. He runs. And the red-haired woman going over her sorceress materials, dirty little brat. And the three of you want what?
Well, hopefully, to not have interference from you two. If not,
She
have
looks
help
up.
from you two. By this
The
time, Turban has taken off his hood and cloak, by the way.
Oh, I would hope so. It is at that point, I mean, you reveal your undead nature to them, and they both smile with fangs as they both reveal their undead nature to you. Has Gunnar ever seen a vampire before? Or a
No,
vampirus?
no.
Well, they're fucking hot, number one. And number two, they're really bitey and not in the fucking fun way.
I mean, some people pay extra for that, so.
After they smile with the fangs, he'll inadvertently take a step backwards and hand me like gesture down.
I mean, he's already been with the Banshee. Vampire's just the next step up anyway. Okay, ladies, I'm gonna make this brief because I'm getting uncomfortable. What is the pair of your stances on Endukaga?
He came to us 2 chains ago for an augury, says the one actually that who's actually sat down her uh her play tablets, and she stands. She stands with the bearing of a queen, mind you. At this point, like, Mike, I'm teasing you with these characters. You
Oh,
may
I
have
know you are.
suspicions, but but Terry doesn't have the
Yep, yep.
longevity you have to know who the fuck we may or may not be dealing with.
Yeah, right. Hi, Faye. How you doing, Faye?
uh, just imagine the two redheads being much younger and much perkier as young vampires.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah.
No, she said, he came to us 2 cycles ago and asked for an augury.
Okay. Well, he wouldn't do that unless he was worried. I'm assuming, since you have at least some oracular wit about you, that you know who I am and why I'm here then.
We do, they say at the same time.
Are you going to stand in the way?
Why would we do that?
Just checking all the boxes off. I'd rather go into this without knowing I'm going to have someone trying to sneak up behind me. That's why.
Oh, we have no love for that sorcerer. He is part of the reason that we cannot return home.
Their bond's going to look at them on that. How is he stopping a pair of you from returning home?
Your curse of unlife is different from ours.
So if I get rid of him, you should be able to go home?
No,
No.
we're stuck here.
Will anything help with that?
No. The one who was carving her whalebone scrimshaw sets her project down and stands, and she explains, "We are of a tribe native to the islands," and she points out over the sea. About 4 days sea travel that way. If the wind is nice and fair weather, sometimes the journey is less than that. But we are vampires now, and we cannot travel across water. We can never go home.
One of the Fae of the Wind are dead anyway, so there's a chance you might not be able to go home regardless.
Running water of any kind, sea or river, is
Prevent
harmful
you.
to vampires.
Right. Well, that's sad. And here I thought I had a wretched existence.
So if you are here to slay and do cargo, by all means. We were
Okay.
lured into a pact with him, and we became what we are.
Like he's just his brain's going, can this man become any more of a fucking monster? No, of course he can't.
Just give it a while.
Yeah, right. Okay. Well, I'm going to kill him.
They both nod.
I am not going to ask what his augury said, but I know I am going to kill him. Whether
Would
that
you like
gives
to know what his augury was?
no. One, that is not for me to know. And two, I would rather not spoil it.
The
If you have any other gift for me, I'll take that before I leave you two in peace.
I will give you an augury. 6,000 cycles from today, a village will be built on this spot. The pirates will come and try to burn this village. And the one who does not call himself a king but is treated like one will slay all the pirates. This fishing village will grow. Many people will come here. People black of hair who have lived long lives, not unlike mortals, but longer still. They will build ships, and they will sail across the sea and house many people beneath their banner. A temple of 5 gods will be, and she looks around at the boughs of the tree above her, will be built on this hill. And 5 gods will be worshipped here. And only 5. If you fail, this will not come to pass.
I'm not going to fail. What is Drûzah? And don't tell me a little boy.
She laughed at that. The one that was carving, who actually has really nice nails, she laughed at that, and she has a laugh that is intoxicating to you. You get the impression that she has a breathtaking singing voice. Uh, no, he is a little boy. He's a little boy with so much else trapped within him. And you heard me correct. Trapped. You be careful with him. If his visage cracks, the detonation might level a mountain.
Okay. I'll look back at Gunnar. Look back at the ladies. I have a job to do. Thank you. You are appreciated, even if not everyone says it.
The sister
And
that was reading previously when you walked up just scoffs at that. Don't lie.
look at me. Why would I? Why would I?
These people are too superstitious to understand what we could do for them, and they shun us.
Then I will tell you what I told the boy. That is their loss.
Hmm.
You are appreciated, whether or not it is said to you. And he'll actually say that last bit with like a bit of authority, and he'll actually like slam the staff down on the ground.
They both relent, but they don't say anything to you. Like a pair of queens in their court, they level you with their gaze, but say nothing.
Thorban will relent and concede simply because it is their court. He will give a small bow, and then, like the shadow that he is, he will vacate the premise. He will look at Gunnar, though, as he turns to leave. He'll be like, they're not like the Banshees. Don't go there right now.
And Hellrag says,
Gunnar will do a respectful bow and turn and follow him out.
no, Hellrag actually, uh, he hesitates as his eyes were glued to these women, uh, and he says, if I was just some shorter, perhaps." Oh, hell with it. And he comes, he follows you. You guys uh vacate the premises to actually an adjacent nearby hill at where Drûzah uh rejoins you there. And at that point we will call for closing soliloquies. Thurban, would you give us the starting closing soliloquy, please?
Sure.
Take us away, brother.
So Thorban is hellbound and hellbent uh, on doing what needs to be done, uh, even though he is mostly not of this world anymore. Um, he realized he could still be confused on certain things and still be, completely out of the loop. Um, for instance, the augury, only thing he got out of that is he can't fail or else it will not transpire. Uh, does sound like it'll be a great place to live, thousands upon thousands of cycles from now. Um, Drûzah is still confusing the ever loving shit out of him. Um, though the cryptic words of "Don't let the visage crack" has him now even slightly worried for the small boy. Obviously, it's not all him in there, but the only thing he can think of that would have that level of power, if it even cracked, is something of the divine. And why would the divine send, essentially an explosive to them? It makes no sense. He's further still flabbergasted by that village. Why did they not react? It's either they're just that out of it themselves, or there was something else going on that was not meant to be. But it's not something really to tarry on. So as they leave the pair of queens there, so to speak, um, and his eyes settle upon that red hot trail once more, um, his brain will actually calm, and he'll almost like settle back into what he was before uh, they even came to the Ebon Vale. That very measured, very stoic, very just I have a job and I need to now see it to completion will set upon his face. Um, and in his brain, in his mind, in every fiber of his being, there is no what if he fails, what'll happen if he doesn't do this. No, every single fiber of his being says justice shall be found, vengeance will be done. This monster will die. And if looks could kill, Thraban could probably very well, kill someone at this point just with his stare as those red coals of his bore into someone's soul. But now he assumes he's going to have to wait for his companions to breathe, to eat, to rest before they go upon the next leg and maybe even the final leg of this journey.
We go to Gunnar for his soliloquy. Take us away, my friend.
Well, Gunnar found a brotherhood with Helreg and appreciates the strength and the eloquence of his new companion. The change of Thraban is a bit concerning. Obviously, something evil has been done to him, but at the same time, there's that strong sense of fate and predetermination. He's looking at him little by little and seeing less of his friend and more of a weapon. And I guess deep down, he knows that one way or the other, this will be the end of him. So all he can do is help guide his friend and this weapon to do the most damage to this enemy that's got to be stopped. This land continues to perplex and surprise him, from the boy who seems unconcerned with the Thraban's change to vampiric women. But he's anxious to see this to the end. There is a strong foe who needs to be dispatched. That's all he can focus on right now.
And with that, we will bring the session to a close. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. We'll be back next week. Hopefully, we will be wrapping up this portion of the Reaper Saga, Act 2 of The Crown of Autumn. Getting close to the curtain call. Getting close there. All right, good night, everybody. Be safe. Be well. Good night.